In America, who can and cannot be a gun owner?
That's a pretty broad category of who can own guns in America, but let me start with saying I am an immigrant.
You are?
I immigrated to the United States in 1969 from Scotland, and I had a green card until 1976 when I became a citizen and joined the United States military.
No way. I thought you were born here this whole time.
I was not. It's just I had a really strong Scottish accent when I came here, but when you're 10 years old and you start getting your head flushed in the toilet at school, because you've got an accent, you lose that pretty quickly.
Oh, I never knew that about you.
I did. I'm a former green card holder.
Well, welcome to America.
Back at you. It's a pretty broad category. I mean, we can do the easy ones. Felons. But that actually isn't an easy category right now.
It's not all felons, correct?
No, it's all felons. Under federal law, if you have a felony conviction, you're not getting a firearm.
Okay.
But that's changing, and rightfully so, because I think most rational people would say there is a difference from somebody that got convicted of a felony 5 years ago for robbing a store than someone that got convicted of a felony 30 years ago for lying on his welfare application.
Right, mail fraud or stuff like that.
And so is there a difference between nonviolent felons and violent felons? And that actually is going through the federal courts right now because of Bruin. Whether nonviolent felons with decades-old felonies should be allowed to have guns. I'm a proponent of that. I think that absolutely you should lose your prohibited status depending upon your felony, type of felony, nonviolent, aging out over decades. There's no reason to prohibit people from having firearms who have long dead felony cases.
Okay. On principle, I agree with that. I find that absolutely reasonable.
It's a rational interpretation of who should have a firearm in America and what make people safe. If you hate guns and you want nobody to have a firearm, then absolutely all felons should never have guns because it fits in your philosophy. If you believe that firearms ownership should be available to responsible citizens, at some point you regain your responsibility as a felon.
Yeah, you can redeem yourself,
a murderer,
right?
maybe never.
Yeah.
A sex offender, maybe never. But people with nonviolent felonies, maybe so. And we'll find out about that in the next few years because it's going through the federal courts right now.
Okay. Yeah, I think you're redeemable.
Well, all of my felonies have been sealed as a juvenile, and so I'm fine with guns right now.
Okay. I'm not going to ask details there.
And there's an extension of that category, misdemeanors.
Yeah.
Do people that have misdemeanors, are they prohibited from owning firearms? And the answer in California is...
Depends on the misdemeanor.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Because California does what California does, which makes gun ownership and possession incredibly difficult.
Yeah.
And so California has a category of prohibitions on misdemeanors. So you get a misdemeanor conviction 8 years ago. Well, you might have a 10-year prohibition. But what are some examples of that? Brandishing a firearm. Well, that seems to have a rational relationship to firearms. So I get that. I think it's a little excessive when somebody's probation period is over. They never went to jail. Their case is long dead and has been expunged or sealed. Now it's 6 years after that. Well, maybe they should have regained their rights to a firearm, but California says 10. Here's the ones I disagree with. Assault. Assault is an attempted battery in California. Mm-hmm. That means I tried to punch you and missed. Mm-hmm. 9 years ago, I'm a prohibited person for another year. So assault, battery, a bar fight, not involving weapons of any kind, 10-year prohibition. Mm-hmm. And so California and some other states have prohibited people based on misdemeanors. In fact, if you get 2 brandishings in California, you have a lifetime prohibition. Mm-hmm. If you have a domestic violence misdemeanor, you have a lifetime prohibition, not just through California, through the federal government because of the Lautenberg Amendment.
Okay.
And it makes it, you have some ability to regain your gun ownership through Lautenberg, but it is narrower in California. And so anything to do with domestic violence is awful for you with regard to your gun ownership.